Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another review. I know it's been a while, but I'm back, and this time it's going to be Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey stars Margot Robbie, Rosie Perez, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Journey Smollett Bell, Ella J. Basco, and Ewan McGregor, and is the story about Harley Quinn, who has recently broken off her relationship with the Joker and is now being hunted down by the majority of Gotham City, until an opportunity arises where she can make even on her past wrongdoings. So I wasn't really looking forward to this one, guys. I've been burned by DC before. They only have really a couple of handful of good movies, and whenever I was seeing this one, I just really wasn't expecting much out of it. I was really worried that it was going to be the Harley Quinn show number two again, because that's basically what Suicide Squad just was. But and it is to an extent. It's kind of narrated by her point of view, but overall, I really enjoyed this one. It took me by surprise. I really liked the story and all the elements about it. Let's just start with the cast. All of them were fantastic. Margot Robbie, she was great in this movie. I really didn't like her at all in Suicide Squad. I thought she was super annoying, but in this one, it kind of fit. I feel like they were kind of going for this Deadpool vibe with like the kind of the quippy fourth wall breaking character, which that got on my nerves a little bit, the fourth wall breaking, but I'm gonna excuse it because the way that the movie is framed, it's through her telling a story of the events of after her like post breakup with the Joker. So I'm going to excuse that one for now, but whenever she addressed the camera full face, it kind of just got on my nerves. I really only a couple of things like really meta and fourth wall breaking can really, really gel with me. And that one got on my nerves a little bit, but I'm going to let it slide because of the way that the movie was set up. Rosie Perez and Journey Smollett Bell, they are really good for the time that they have. They have probably the second most amount of time in the film. And unfortunately, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she has the least amount of time in the film, but I think that like her character was fleshed out enough. And while she was there, I liked everything that she was putting forward. I thought that she did an excellent job. And let's get to Ewan McGregor, obviously. Um, Basically, he was the only reason I was even semi excited for this movie in the first place. And he delivers exactly what I was expecting. He is an incredible actor, and I enjoyed every minute of it. You could tell he was really relishing every moment of it, too. It's just a joy seeing an actor take pleasure in their work. But not just Ewan McGregor, because there is a secondary antagonist, Chris Messina, and he is just as excellent as Ewan McGregor is, if not more so. He is playing the character of Victor Zsasz, and anybody familiar with the DC universe probably knows who that is. But basically, he's just playing the right-hand man to Ewan McGregor's character, Black Mask, and he's an excellent addition, I thought. So Black Mask kind of goes on these kind of tangent little rampages. He gets in his own head thinking people are mocking him or whatever, and Victor's ass is just there kind of egging him on, and it kind of builds to these scenes. And I thought that was great. He was a great addition, kind of just like a onlooker, kind of the wrangler, I guess, of this leader of the mob, which I thought he was great in it. One thing that this film has that I was extremely surprised by was the style. It is so stylistic. It's incredible. It's almost Tarantino or Edgar Wright-esque. There's like superimposed text on the screen. It starts it with the narration and an animation, which was really cool. And I was just shocked by how stylized it is. I think that the color palette is amazing, just really vibrant. And the way that the camera moved, especially in the fight scenes, I thought was awesome. I was really taken back by the way that this film was presented, and I really enjoyed that. It was probably my favorite part of the entire thing, honestly. And since I just touched on it, let's talk about the fight scenes in this. Holy crap, are they awesome! I believe that they were choreographed by the same people that do the John Wick fights, and it really shows. Like, every fight scene I thought was incredible. Two, especially one that takes place in an evidence lockup in a police precinct and a fun house at the very climax of the film. Those alone are worth going and seeing the movie, I think. There are just some really creative things that they do with the weapons that are chosen and all of the different ways that the characters are getting around. Yeah, I was really impressed by the action, and I wasn't expecting that either. I know I keep saying that, but I really had pretty low expectations for this, but wow, I was blown away by some of the stuff that was shown to us here. The soundtrack too. The Suicide Squad had a god awful soundtrack. It just seemed like out of place, kind of trying to capitalize on how like the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack was, but it didn't work in that film. But I feel like in Birds of Prey, they kind of realized their mistakes and they decided that they were going to try and do something else. And I think that the score and the soundtrack really worked for the film, especially different parts whenever some characters might be singing their own songs and just kind of, I don't know, it's almost dream sequence-esque. There's a lot of really kind of outlandish things that happen throughout the movie. So near the beginning of the movie, since I said that it's kind of being told by Harley Quinn's perspective, she's telling like a story to you. It kind of jumps back and forth throughout the timeline a little bit. I'd say for like maybe the first 30 minutes, 40 minutes, maybe even to an hour. It's like a linear storyline, and then it goes back and it's like, oh, let me catch you up on this. And then it goes through that, and then you're all caught up. And then it does another thing. Something's introduced where it's like, oh, maybe that wasn't explained very well. And they're like, oh, hold on, I forgot to mention. Here, I'll go back. And I thought that was kind of an interesting way of doing things. It kind of like, it kept things fresh where it's like, oh, something is introduced to this story. You're like, oh, how does that make exact sense? And then Harley Quinn just comes in and she's like, oh, hold on, let me make sense of this. And it jumps back and, you know, you run through everything and it clarifies it. I thought that was kind of a cool way of going through the story and kind of piecing things together. It's the non-linear storytelling. I'm kind of a fan of that, which I was really pleased by how that was presented in Birds of Prey. There's only really one sequence of the film that I wasn't really hooked on. It's kind of this weird dream sequence. I mentioned it was kind of like dreamy sequences at times. It's kind of this weird dream sequence where after Harley Quinn is kind of getting interrogated, I guess, she gets smacked around a little bit and she like this musical number just starts playing and she's like dancing and all this stuff. And I don't know, it seemed a little bizarre and just like off the cuff. I know that it's supposed to be like she was dazed or whatever, but it just really didn't work for me. It kind of drew me out of the movie a little bit at that point, but it only goes on for like maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute at most. So it kind of just like, oh, you know, here's a little fun little sequence and we're back to the main thing, which that was fine. I guess it was just kind of a bizarre choice in my opinion. It added to the style, I'll say that much, which, you know, I really am, I'm pretty much in love with the style of this movie. I was really surprised by it, but I don't know, that one just didn't work for me as much. Aside from that, that's really my only complaints of the movie. Maybe a couple of other sequences here and there where it has, you know, noticeably bad CG, but other than that, you know, that's admissible for the most part for me. So overall, I really enjoyed this one. I'm going to give Birds of Prey a 4 out of 5. Anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks as always for watching. I know I haven't been here for a while, basically since Star Wars. I've been a little bit busy, so I haven't had a chance to get out and see anything. And yeah, I just haven't had anything to say recently. So that's why it's been a little bit of a break. I've kind of been working on a couple of different things too. So anyway, thank you for watching. And as always, guys, thanks for stopping by.